And welcome to In-Game Chat. It's Saturday, September the 12th, 2020, Season 14, Episode 27. I'm Scott.
And I'm RJ.
And welcome to the show, everybody. Here's this. Good. Got that out of the way.
You might want to move the mic.
Why? Is it in the way?
It is dead in front of your face.
That's, that's
perfect.
Appropriate for a lot of people.
Well, you did
keep
say
that microphone right in front of his face.
Yeah, you did say we had a face for radio.
Yeah, right. Mm-hmm. I had to go and throw cameras into it. I don't know why. People like to watch things more than they like to listen to things. I guess I don't know. So, welcome to the show. If you'd like to get in touch with us, our phone number is 334-272-9228. I encourage you to reach out to us on this episode. We'd love to hear from you and your opinions on, mainly Microsoft. And what we've got to say about them a little bit later on. So when we get up to that section, which we're going to devote a lot of it to, please give us a call. Let us know. 334-272-9228. What do you think about it? We'll open up the phone lines then. They're already open. It doesn't matter. Check out InGameChat.net for all the links to get in touch with us. You can find us on Twitter at InGameChat. You can find us on Facebook at InGameChat. Email us, everyone, at InGameChat.net. Streaming right now, as we mentioned a minute ago about the camera thing. Yeah, it's on Twitch. Go to twitch.tv, and you can find us there. Watch us live as we broadcast. Join us in the chat room there if you would like to as well while we broadcast. So, I had a whole lot of stuff that we were probably going to go and talk about. But an unexpected turn of events from Microsoft kind of changed that this week. So, there was a few things. I mean, we've been away for a while. So, I mean, NVIDIA announced their new cards, their new graphics cards for PC. AMD has announced that they're going to have, I don't know what AMD is doing. They've got their processor reveal on October the 8th, and then they've got their graphics cards on October the 28th, which is a good bit of a gap in between there. Meanwhile, NVIDIA announced their cards on September the 1st, and we'll have them, I don't even want to say in stores. They're going to be so, you're going to be so hard to find one, probably. I don't know. Supply is going to be very tough for these things. But I believe September 17th for some, and then later in September for one of the other cards, and then the big, massive $1,500 graphic card. Big card, I think sometime in October, early October for that one. But they're waiting on that. So I don't know. I've always been Team Green. NVIDIA is the green guys. With the exception of my very first card I ever had was a ATI Radeon. This is before AMD. I think either bought them or just changed their names or whatever they did. But yeah, it was an ATI Radeon. I can't even remember, like a 9700 or something. I don't know, 96, 9000. I don't know what it was. It's going way back though. And that was it. I was lured away from them, from NVIDIA, by their PhysX engines because of all their new little things and neat stuff. And I was starting games that had powered by NVIDIA on the thing instead of powered by the card I had. And I was just like, I'm going NVIDIA. And I've been with them ever since. So usually stick to them. Man, the announcement of that card, that 3080, and what it can do compared to previous cards that cost well over $1,000, and they're only going to charge you $700. There was a collective gasp on the internet when they announced that price. People were expecting it a lot more than that. For what it could do, they were expecting it a lot more, especially with all the leaks that were coming out. But and then, of course, when the 3090 was revealed, and they're like, oh, well, there's the big boy. And it is a big card. Yeah. It's huge. And for $1,500, it should be. Yeah. So,
but will most folks have the equipment to match in their rigs to put that thing in there?
Yeah.
Because that's typical of the thing with all parts, right? You got that nice new part, but then does everything else match up to it? to make it run at its best.
Yeah, I mean, obviously I'm upgrading my entire system on this one, so it's going to be fine. But if I were to get a 3080 and plug it into my current system now, I'd be bottlenecking myself massively with my processor and especially my RAM and everything else. So, it wouldn't be good. So I'm glad I'm doing the full upgrade here, which I'm getting closer and closer to that. I am at this point. I got a few parts that are still ordered and coming in, and by a few I mean like one or two. And then I had a case in mind, and then I started taking the measurements and then matching it up with where it would be sitting. Don't fit. So yeah, and it don't fit by like a little bit really. But I can't. But I can't have that thing like it could sit there. It'd just be hanging off, not half, way less than half, but it'd still be hanging off the side there. I just don't think I can deal with that. I don't think I can deal with it. So I've got to reassess my case decision. So that's what I'm currently been going through. And I mean, I've been wrote down the dimensions of my current case, and that is what I'm using to measure up all the other dimensions of every case that I look at, with the height, the width, the depth, to see, as long as it hits these numbers and it can be a tad bit over, and I mean a tad bit over.
Yeah, slightly.
Yeah.
Very slightly.
Or it can be anything under. Anything under, we're good. Tad bit over, we're okay. But this lets me, get a nice little roadmap of what I could put in there. So, and NVIDIA announced their stuff, and then we've got Xbox was unexpectedly announced. Apparently, it was supposed to happen this coming week, which is interesting because Sony announced that they're going to be talking about the PlayStation 5 on Wednesday. So I don't know when, I can't remember when Microsoft had originally planned to do this, but it was supposed to be this coming week and not the week that just passed. And I don't know, it says some people leak some things, maybe. It may have been a planned leak. It may have been let's just throw that out there and let's just act like we didn't know it happened, and then let's roll with it and, come off as fluid, like, okay, sure, we'll go with this. That's fine. But so I'm not sure about that, but nonetheless, we got some details. We got all the details that we needed. We got every single detail we needed. All the final pieces of the puzzle were put in there, at least on Microsoft's side. Sony still don't know. But when I say impressive, I mean it is impressive. What they're doing, what they did, what they're doing, and what they're selling it for. We talked about price for a long time, and this is not the section we're going to get into it. So, I'll tell you what, we'll get into that. We'll get into that later. You know how I can be. I can ramble. I do that a lot. I can ramble and ramble and ramble, and then we'll never get on with it. So, like I'm doing right now. It's been a couple, it's been a while, been a minute. Let's talk about what we played. I throw it over to RJ.
For the most part, I've been doing what I did last time we talked, still playing Code Vein. I've been working on building up my alt characters as opposed to my main. My alt being a level 300, and I think that's the max. The max is still set at 300, actually. I haven't done the DLC for my main character yet, so I've got to get those two put away. I've done one. I've got two more that I have to get into. Still working on types, really. I got my one balance type, my one heavy weapons type, my one speed type, and the other is one revolving around the bayonet for support. So a support type, I guess, would be best called. So that's what I've been working on there. A little bit of fighting games here and there. A little bit of Street Fighter 5 here and there. Did some Streets of Rage 4. Played a bit of that a bit. I was going to start Cuphead, but I was got back into Code Vein, and I put that to the side.
You've never played Cuphead, right?
I've played Cuphead on Steam, but I only got maybe about a third of the way through.
Seems like a game that's right up your alley, man.
Yeah, I mean it is. I played it. I played a little bit of it, and I got a third of the way through, but I've still got much to go through. So by the time I get around to it, I just said, may as well buy it on PS4, put it on there, start playing there, and go from there. Start over again. Yeah, outside of that, that's pretty much all I've been playing since Labor Day holiday in the week. Yeah.
All right. Well, for me, it's Animal Crossing, which I'm currently playing right now. Still
working on it. Yep.
But I was paying attention to. This is just mind-numbing I say mind-numbing. It's mindless. It's mindless stuff to be able to figure out to be able to do any of this stuff. So, but anyway, Animal Crossing, Burnout Paradise. I downloaded Donut County, which I think I told you about.
Yeah, the big hole.
Yeah, I played some of that. Yeah, this is okay. It's all right. It's interesting. It's a nice little Katamari thing. They haven't really opened it up to where, like Katamari, you would start somewhere and then you'd move outside and then things would get bigger and suddenly, you realize that, oh wait, it's before you know it, you realize how far back the camera is zoomed and how big everything is. Mm-hmm. This hasn't happened in Donut County yet. I don't know that it's going to.
Yeah.
They seem to want to have a solid narrative, which is not something Katamari Damacy would really ever have.
No.
Confusing, silly, which I mean, of course, it's going to be silly, especially when you see the King of All Cosmos and,
Yeah.
Exactly.
Who has not seen the King of Cosmos? I mean, that.
Yeah, I know, right?
Kind of a striking image.
It is. It is. And there's nothing like that for Donut County, and I haven't gotten too far into it. But there is a talking raccoon who apparently is making all these holes that are swallowing things up because he's trying to reach level 10. It's told in a perspective of a past, like it's already all happened. And now you're playing back in the past to make it all happen again type of thing. I don't know much about it. I haven't ever played too much of it, but... so yeah, Donut County, Burnout Paradise, Animal Crossing. I have not played Pac-Man Plus. Destiny, of course, just, more Destiny. I need one item to get my 1060. I'm actually not focusing on that anymore. There was a exotic gun that was released this week, so slowly throughout the week I've been doing the little things that I have to do.
Not a scout rifle?
It's not. It's a sidearm. It's a nice little sidearm, by the way.
I've really never got into those sidearms.
You've got the DLC, though, right?
Yeah.
This is a gun you can get easily. Mm-hmm. There is no PvP involved.
Mm-hmm.
There is no...
well, I'm sorry, wait. The latest DLC?
I mean, I would say, I would say that the latest DLC, whatever, this season of Arrivals, whatever.
It's okay, I'm probably not sure then.
This current season.
It's been a while since I picked up Destiny.
Did you get the season pass?
Yep. I got one season pass. I'm not sure if I got the latest DLC. Like I said, it's been too long since I've picked up Destiny, so I probably don't. Maybe
I don't know that
you
you need that. I don't actually know that you need the DLC to do this.
Okay.
It's kind of a nice little. It's a nice little. They send you back to the planets, which they're vaulting.
Mm-hmm.
So you go to Io, Titan, Mars, and Mercury.
Okay.
Basically doing a little goodbye tour.
Oh,
they're doing
okay.
That. Yeah, they will have you do a few things, but none of it involves PvP. None of it involves... There are a few things that involve doing this, but it's not like it's 100 or 200. It's like 13, Or I think one was it's like 13 or maybe 30. But you could do it in a strike that they ask you to go through. Mm. And while doing it, you would get it done in that strike.
Okay.
So it's not... It's completely within your ability to get the gun.
Mm-hmm.
And so...
So what's his biggest perk?
I want to say it's something... Is it called Guiding Light? I think it's called Guiding Light. As you make kills with it, it stacks to 10. And I want to say, and I'm not sure, but I want to say the more stacks it has, the faster your melee and grenades recharge.
Mm-hmm.
To the point that, so you can keep them. You can have it stacked to max 10, and your grenades and melees recharge pretty fast. If you need instant recharge of your grenade and melees, you just hold down the reload button, and it'll reload the gun. But also, boom, instant grenade, instant melee, right back.
Goodness.
So it ain't bad. It ain't bad. Chuck a grenade. Fire your gun, hit the R button, you got brand new, whatever. So, pretty good in that regard. I only actually picked it up this morning. I haven't actually played too much with it, but not bad. Not bad to have it all. So yeah, just slowly working through that through the week. It's really not a hard thing to do at all. What was the other thing? Call. I'm gonna put them on hold real quick. I want to say I played something else. I guess I didn't. I thought maybe that I did. Well, I didn't. I played some Fall Guys.
You win any?
On PlayStation. Not the big one. I got, through most of it, but I didn't get through.
Got the qualifier, but you didn't get to the final round.
Yeah. On some of it, I did get to the final round, but I just didn't get the crown at the end type of thing. So
somebody trolled you?
No, I never got trolled.
Okay.
No, never got trolled. I don't play it. I don't think I played enough to really run into that kind of luck.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. That is what I played. Now, there's a couple of things from 2 weeks ago that we didn't go over. And I've got the news sort of spread out here because there was the NVIDIA reveal, which we already sort of mentioned, and we'll go about that here in a bit. There was Nintendo's Direct for Super Mario Brothers 35th anniversary.
Yeah.
Few things there. More in the Apple versus Epic situation going on there, although honestly I'm about ready to say I don't care anymore. Ubisoft did another showcase this past week. And so we'll go over some of that. And then, of course, Microsoft. And we're going to talk about that. It's worth talking about. It's worth spending a lot of time on. Before we get into, let's see, we got about 7 minutes left before we got to go to a break here. A game I think you're familiar with, but that you had posted about in our little chat room there was that the Skullgirls developer, laid off everybody.
Yeah.
Was this a? I don't know. Did you read into this?
It was like a situation where, about the harassment charges going against the lead, Mike.
Right. I thought
Mike
there was
Simon,
some. I thought there was some of that going on.
It was like from what I gathered, it was like you had an option of like leaving or doing or something else. But either way, he decided to like lay off everybody in that development team.
Yeah.
Just everybody who hadn't quit, he laid off. So the rights are still with I think Autumn Games or whoever the parent company is. But yeah,
we're not likely to see anything from any more Skullgirls.
In place.
Not that we were seeing. Were we seeing anything from Skullgirls anyway?
Some mobile game or something else. That wasn't. God. I mean, I wouldn't get into it. If it's a fighting game, I want to do on the
which is what I thought it was.
So I want to do the sticks and pads on that, not on my phone. So I just put that aside.
Yeah, PlayStation 5. Sony's having a showcase that happens on September the 16th, which is Wednesday. I'll keep reminding you about that, but we'll know more about that. Obviously, that'll be what we'll be talking about next week. I say that thinking that we're going to get a price and a date.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. I heard it was supposed, like I was saying earlier, it was supposed to be something out, but it didn't come through or something.
Yeah. Roller Toker, yeah. Roller Coaster Tycoon 3.
Someone make that game, by the way.
Roller Toker.
You might have started to hit, man. You may have started to hit.
That's not a bad idea. I got to figure.
It's legal in some places.
We've often come up with things about games here. I remember one of our games was going to be called "Everything's a Gun," because everything in a level you could pick up and it would be a gun, which almost sounds like what Enter the Gungeon actually became.
Yeah,
but we just like the idea of like everything. It'd be side scrolling, and everything you could pick up in the level, whatever's there, would be some sort of gun.
Yeah.
Like not necessarily a gun. Like if there's a chair and you pick it up, then it shoots 4 bullets.
Yeah.
Because you're gonna hold the legs of the chair out and it shoots.
There you go.
So it wasn't that the room is lined with different guns. It's all lined with regular objects.
Yeah.
They just act as guns.
Mm-hmm.
That was the idea.
Yeah. 4-way spread, 3-way.
Right?
One-time power shot, and pick up that teddy bear. Watch it blow up everything in the room.
I know.
Like that.
So you'd find some way to work that in there. So maybe we come up with a Roller Toker. I don't know. Anyway, Roller Coaster Tycoon 3 Complete Edition is coming to PC and Switch. I bring that up because I'm an RCT fan, and I have been for a long time. I'm not necessarily an RCT 3 fan. 3 was when they moved into the 3D realm. It's still held on to some of the aspects of 1 and 2, but it lost a little bit of that. I don't know what it was. It lost something by moving into some sort of new generation type thing, which it really wasn't, but they changed the style of it. And honestly, in this day of pixelation and everything else where it's like, ooh, it's retro pixels and things like that, RCT 1 and 2 would be fantastic. If this was just the Roller Coaster Tycoon collection, 1, 2, and 3, all DLC and everything else, I think this would be a much better deal. Right now, it's going to be like $40, which is, I think, that feels like too much money for a game that old.
Yeah.
Essentially not having any kind of upgrades. It's not a remaster or anything like that.
It doesn't have all the DLC in there with
it. It does have all the DLC, which
there
wasn't DLC to begin with, really. There were expansion packs.
Yeah,
because that was a time when you didn't download the expansion packs. You had to go to the store and buy the expansion pack. And there was only, I think there were only 2 expansion packs released for the game, but they're all included in there. But still, $40 seems like it's a bit much. Yeah. I mean, if you look at the year on Roller Coaster Tycoon, you're going back to like 96, 97.
Oh, goodness.
$40 for a 20, 30-year-old game? If my math is wrong. 10, 20, 25, something like that. I don't know. I don't know the year of RCT3, but yeah. Roller Toker. I still love that. Shinmu is getting an animated series. From the director of One Punch Man. Interesting.
Yeah.
Breath of the Wild is getting a prequel, Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity, coming to Switch. I think it's set like 100 years before Breath of the Wild or something like that. I'm not sure. I have not been keeping up with the Zelda.
2004, by the way. Roller Coaster Tycoon 3.
2004?
Initial release date.
I was way off. That's still
a while ago.
That's still a while ago.
Yeah.
What, 18 years? No. 10, 16 years. Yeah. I don't know why you're coming up with 18. Yeah, 16 years on that. Still. It's like, yeah.
Been a minute.
$40 is not, that's, no. Okay. We got to take a break. We're going to take this break. When we come back, I'm going to still hit up. We're going to hold off on the Microsoft stuff's going to come at the top of the hour. So keep that handy for you. We'll go over some more of the stuff that we've got. Some of the things we didn't get last week, which was the Gamescom thing, the opening night stuff. Yeah, I was going to talk about Marvel Avengers, but that hasn't really gone so well. Speaking of, we've got music from Marvel Avengers in our music section later on in the show. Coming up right now, it's music from Wasteland 3. This is called Garden of the Gods. And we're going to take a break. When we come back, we will go to the phones if they're still there. And if it's Chris, thank you for waiting. If it's not, thank you for waiting, whoever you are. We'll go to the phones. And we've got more in-game chat on the way. And welcome back to In-Game Chats. This is music from a game called Hot Shot Racing. It is on Game Pass, if you have Game Pass. I've heard a lot of talk about it. It's from Sumo Digital, which I don't know who Sumo's done something, a few things, and I'm trying to remember what, but apparently it's got a lot of...
I can see the logo in my head right now for Sumo Digital, yeah.
Apparently it's got a lot of... It looks like crap, but apparently it's got a lot of outrun cruising feel. Mm-hmm. So I may have to give it a shot on Pass since it's there. All right, he's been waiting long enough. I don't want to make him wait anymore. Let's talk to Chris. Hey, Chris.
What's going on?
Not much. What's going on with you, man?
I wish I could have brought that weather back we had on vacation for about 2.5 weeks ago back with us.
I say the same thing every time I come back from Seattle.
Yeah,
I just wish I could bring it back.
Out there is fantastic, isn't it?
In Seattle, yeah, and where you were, same thing. I mean, it's just, well, compared to what we get right here with the humidity and the upper 90s and heat indexes up and higher than that, yeah, of course, I want that. So what's going on with you?
Well, I had fun on vacation and all. Took my Switch with me. I did a little bit of Animal Crossing, but got tired of that, and I picked up another role-playing game called Fairy Tale. It follows a Japanese animation series I like, so I've been playing that the rest of the time. But I found some great deals on Laserdisc players and movie treasures for those different players. You know, the Laserdisc movies out there, and I couldn't believe the stuff I found out there. We probably had more fun searching around and going to flea markets and pawn stores and things like that than anything.
Well, that's good, man.
Any certain movies that stuck out that you
offhand? Well, the first one I found was $20, and I asked them, "Was the thing working?" Well, I don't know. They ended up hooking it up, popped the tray out, and the second disc of Apollo 13 was in there. So that's one easy. Just pop it back in here. That one worked. Got it for $20.
Mm-hmm.
I found a few movies at another place, and I found a price tag on it that said movies and player $20, and there was like 8 movies. So I was like, yeah, I'll get that. Can't beat that.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
And then went to another pawn store and got a boxed Mario Kart 8 Wii U edition. Got to talking to the lady and tell her about the other deals on the other player I had found in movies and stuff. Oh yeah, guess what we got in? We got a Laserdisc player in just the other day. So she brought it out on the cart and the movies and everything, and guess what movie was on top of the stack?
Apollo 13. No, I don't know.
No, I did get another Apollo 13, but the limited collector's box set of Alien.
Oh, nice.
Oh, good.
And I said, yeah, I got to have that right there, so I ended up getting Aliens. Both of them were the collector's box set. Found Tombstone, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, Aladdin.
Goodness.
Couple of the Star Trek movies. I mean, classics. Found Jaws.
Had a haul there, dude.
Yeah, some classic ones. Terminator 1, Starman. Just looked like I found a bunch of treasures out there.
Oh yeah, good job, man. Because it's like I said, man. There's the old saying: one man's trash, another man's treasure. Because I still remember that.
I'll probably be doing like the records and so. It's probably going to have its time where it's going to be coming around again and be collectible again.
Yeah. It always reminds me of that time I found a buddy of mine told me about those black label Castlevania Symphony of the Nights he found at a yard sale. There was like 4 of them there. He took all 4, put those things on eBay, and he got triple-digit dollars for each one. He bought the whole pack for like 15 to 20.
Yeah.
Go figure, man.
And I looked up some info on the Aliens, and when it first came out, the special box, it has 4 discs to the sucker, and it sold for $100 when it was originally released, and I probably got that whole stack and quite a bit more for like $50. But Alien and Aliens were worth the $50 I paid for it, and got a whole bunch more that were things I couldn't pass up.
Mm-hmm. Well, you had a good haul, man. That's a good list of stuff you picked up.
Yeah, it was real fun. But like I said, I was cussing about the weather when we were.
No, I know. Trust me, I know. Trust me, when I get on the plane in Seattle. So on the days that I come, I love going out there because it's reverse. I get on the plane in nasty hot. Well, usually I fly out at night, so it's not too bad. And then I land in Seattle, and it's like, oh, this feels really nice. Then in Seattle, I'm getting on early in the morning, and it's really cold, and then usually I have to stop over to Atlanta before I get here, and I can feel like that is walking into the thickest. Just, you think it's a wall of heat as soon as that door opens, and you walk through the air, the whatever that is, not the taxi, the
terminal.
It's that thing from the terminal that takes you to the plane, that little walkway.
Oh yeah, the little
it's called something. I can't remember what it's called.
Yeah, just turn your oven on, put it about 400 degrees.
Oh, it's ridiculous.
Open the door and stand in front of it. There you go.
Tis ridiculous.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but what about gaming? Any kind of game stuff?
I found a few games here and there. I couldn't remember what they were. It's just like things like, I would like to have a physical edition of that. I found a couple of PlayStation 3, found a few PlayStation 4 games.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Found some stuff I could even trade in back to the game store in Prattville at Retro Game Planet, and the Palm store was wanting dirt cheap prices from me. I'll give them that. Mm-hmm. But then one of them was really where I found it. One of them, and of course I told the guy later on. He looked up the price and value of it. And, he originally wanted $15 for it. It was Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, but it was a special one that was made by Ubisoft. It's like worth $100 by itself, just a loose cartridge, and he had it marked 15. So I want to make some money on this and give them a good game that they could do. He looked up the value and was looking on eBay and stuff. Said, I didn't realize this was a collector's item. I'm gonna have to change the price to $75. I said no. I was almost wanting to go off on his boss and tell him, where he could stick it, but I said no.
Okay,
no, you already sold it, man. Come on now.
Yeah, I mean, it should have been your job to look around in your spare time and some of these items and keep up with the values and prices. And
you know how it goes, man.
Yeah, but but the other ones I did good on, so I'm not too worried about it.
All right. Well, it's good hearing from you. Glad to have you back home safe. And well, take care, and we'll talk to you again next week.
All right, y'all have a good afternoon. Hopefully it's going to cool off here real soon.
Here's hoping, yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right, bye.
All right, later, man.
Yes. Speaking of physicals, there was a couple of PS4 titles that I was going to pick up. I think Ikaruga is going to have a new limited edition coming out sometime next month or so.
Yeah.
And then there's I think Limited Run Games is having the Metal Slug Anthology collection is going to be
neat.
Released as well, a physical copy on PS4 as well.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So, with that being said, let's go over some of the other stuff that we didn't.
Stuff we missed.
Yeah, let's see. Let me open that up and see. And then there was... oh, man. Yeah, I want to talk about that, too. Yeah. The Gamescom thing, the Gamescom opening night that they did, this was 2 weeks or so ago. The Jurassic World Evolution Complete Edition coming to Nintendo Switch, which I think is really cool. Call of Duty, Black Ops, Cold War. First off, title's too long. Doom Eternal Expansion, The Ancient Gods. I remember being really upset about this. Surgeon Simulator 2. Mm-hmm. Was revealed by using Christopher Lloyd as Doc Brown from Back to the Future to intro this. I don't understand that.
Mm-hmm. Some crossovers just... Yeah,
there is no crossover.
Don't make sense, I know.
There is no crossover. Like, you don't... So they do all this teasing before they ever tell you the title, and it's like, okay, there's the DeLorean, and then there's him doing his thing. It's like, what is this? Mm-hmm. This is Surgeon Simulator 2. This is so stupid. They paid a ton of money for that. But, no. I can't remember what I compared it to. As if, I don't know. It's like if you had all the actors from the Goonies come out to announce... Actually, no, it'd be better if they did that, actually. Mm-hmm. To announce, like, a Sea of Thieves expansion. Just because there was a pirate ship in there. Yeah. Just because he's a doctor, I guess. I don't really know what kind of doctor he is. Mm-hmm. I mean, it would be better, like...
Not medical.
Yeah. You probably could have saved some money by doing a Rick and Morty thing.
Possibly.
But even that wouldn't have tied into it, I don't think. Mm-mm. Maybe. I don't know. but I just didn't understand the connection. It was
well,
really,
maybe
really,
there's no connection just to get your attention.
I mean, it got
focused
my
on
attention, but it only made me angry. So it's just like, I don't like your game now.
Which game?
Surgeon Simulator 2.
And it'll stick with you for the rest.
Well,
for the rest
yeah,
of the
it was a
month.
stupid thing. BioWare talked about the next Dragon Age game. It's all they seem to be able to do is just talk about the next game, and oddly enough, talk about it, but not actually inform us of anything.
Mm-hmm.
Talk all they want about it, but not actually give us any info.
We're working on it.
A new Sam & Max game was teased. That's nice. I mean, for people who like Sam & Max, it's not that I don't like them. I just haven't played Sam & Max in a long time.
Also, it was the Fox show. Also, it was the show on Fox.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
World of Warcraft Shadowlands had a release date trailer, which looked kind of yucky. Then there was Crash 4. They talked about that. A gameplay trailer for Little Nightmares 2. I need to play the first one. EA Star Wars Squadrons, the VR section of Star Wars Squadrons. An expansion pack for The Sims 4, which is Star Wars themed. Of course, EA, milk it. You've got the license. The definitive edition of Mafia was shown off. Looks fantastic.
Might be a good time to get in there because I haven't played.
Yeah.
I've never played Mafia.
I was not a fan of 3, but Mafia and Mafia 2 I was a big fan of. Mafia 2 I was a big fan of because they made improvements to Mafia 1. I cannot remember what they were, but there were improvements made from Mafia to Mafia 2, which is why I like that. Mafia 3 I didn't like. It started out okay, but then it kind of, came off the tracks a little bit. Lego Star Wars The Skywalker Saga, as if we haven't milked... Lego has not yet milked everything they can out of the Star Wars series.
Look, if people are going to keep buying it, they're going to keep milking.
Yeah, I know. Season 2 of Fall Guys, they announced some of that. A Medal of Honor game from Respawn that is VR. That looked interesting. Beyond Light from Destiny 2, they showed off some of the subclasses for that. Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. There was a nice long gameplay of that, which bored me to death. And so, yeah. That was what was going on with Gamescom. This other thing, we were going to talk about, I had it on there, but then there was an update. So, Control.
Yeah.
We talked about the fact that the previous owners of the game were not going to be getting a free upgrade unless you bought the Ultimate Edition. People who bought the Ultimate Edition would get the free upgrade, but people who had bought the previous edition would not, and they were trying to figure out why that is. And 505 Games had previously said that the only way to do that, instead of just buying them outright, would be to buy the Ultimate Edition that was released earlier in the week. We're unfortunately unable to offer an upgrade path to all existing Control players. That is what they said. Then, something happened. After Control Ultimate Edition went on sale just the other day, some PS4 users started noticing that it had replaced their existing deluxe version it had replaced their existing deluxe version bought when the game initially released. Some people wrote, went on to the PS4 store new release area. It says I owned the Control Ultimate Edition. I purchased the deluxe edition back at launch. Later in the day, some of those same PS4 users reported that their access to the Ultimate Edition had then been revoked. 505 Games did not immediately respond to a request for comment. The deluxe edition was priced at $80 and included both of the game's DLC expansions. This week's Ultimate Edition is $40 and includes both of those expansions. In addition, however, it also includes a free upgrade to the PS5 version of the game when it comes out later this year. The Deluxe Edition does not, except for the people whose versions of the game appear to have gotten swapped. As someone else on Twitter showed, the Microsoft Store appears to treat the Ultimate Edition like a bundle, informing people who own the base version of Control that they already own part of the bundle, so what's stopping them from paying piecemeal for the rest? It's unclear, and neither 505 Games or Remedy Entertainment, which developed the game, has done much to clear up the confusion. So there was nothing else. I didn't understand that. I thought it was horrible that it was then revoked. I guess if they couldn't... It seems to show that they were able to do it, and they're just not because, greedy publishers. Yeah. That's where I'd like to fall on that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I really can't believe them. And I don't think Remedy has any say in it. It's like, that is our publisher. There's absolutely nothing we can do about this. It is on. It's the blood is on their hands, not ours. There's nothing we can do. We would love to.
Probably is money,
and they probably can't say anything either. They're probably not allowed to.
Mm-hmm.
So, because I haven't heard them say one word about any of this. So, let's see, what else did we have? Let me read this real quick. I didn't read a lot of the news here. I saved it, but I didn't read it. I want to check what the update on this article was. Mm-hmm. Oh God, this is a long update.
What's this concerning?
Ubisoft support phase has been added to remove any much. There was, according to Ubisoft, the PlayStation 5 will only be backwards compatible with PS4 games. It won't go any further back.
Okay.
But now that's all called.
So it's not really an issue for me, really, because I still have my PS3. It still works.
Yeah.
So. Yeah.
I don't know. And then there was an update to it. The second explain why PS2 games never got ported to PS4. 2 years later, Jim Ryan took over the head. The Ubisoft support page has been edited to remove any mention of backwards compatibility at all. So, I don't know. We'll probably get an update on Wednesday, possibly, maybe. I don't want to speculate because I really don't know what Sony's doing.
Yeah.
Microsoft, I don't care anymore. They did their thing. They showed their hand.
Yeah.
And it's a real good hand. They got a really good hand.
Hard to beat.
It's man.
Hard to beat.
It really makes me wonder what Sony's going to do. It really makes me wonder what Sony's doing. How they're going to combat this.
How they're going to counteract it.
I used to think that the company that goes first was always at a disadvantage because the company that goes second would be able to change on the fly.
Yeah.
Hey, we're okay.
Yeah,
they can have this thing set where it's like, okay, if they announce this, we can go to this.
Mm-hmm.
If they announce it at this, we can stay at this or go lower, but never go higher. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but the way you're describing it, it's like Microsoft has put on a very tough act to follow. So
well, and it's not just the console itself, and we're going to get into that. We're going to get into this whole thing coming up here in about 10 minutes or so.
Mm-hmm.
NVIDIA, of course, they announced their reveal of the. So they announced the 3070, which is the lower end of the 30 series.
Right.
There's the 3070, the 3080, and the 3090.
Okay.
The 70 is the lower end of that series. It costs $500, and apparently, it actually is better than the current card on the market that is $1,200.
Excuse me?
Yeah, I know. Like they really, the secondary market, they really punched them in the gut. Like folks were hanging on to their cards, like, yeah, maybe I'll sell it. Like you better sell it now before they announce because you don't know what's going to happen. And then they announce, and the secondary market just was killed. Like if you wanted to resell a 2080 Ti, which is the $1,200 card,
right,
you'd be able to pull in maybe $900. Before the announcement,
yeah,
maybe even $800. You're still sitting pretty. Now, nobody wants that stuff.
Nobody want that.
Nobody wants that stuff. Nobody does. You get a 3070 for $500, and you're going to be still better than a 2080 Ti. You get a 3080 at $700, and you're still better than a $1,200 2080 Ti.
Wow.
Oh man. And think about the people who didn't wait. Think about the people who didn't even know that weren't tuned in to this whole NVIDIA thing.
I was about to say there's some hostile folks out there right now.
And they bought it like a week ago or 2 weeks ago, or at least within enough time that they couldn't do anything about it, like return it or whatever. Man,
I mean it happens, but still,
yeah,
that's even more bitter. Ugh.
Yep. So yeah. What else we got here? Yeah, the Apple versus Epic thing. Apple went back to Epic, or at least countersued Epic, and demanded punitive damages. Then Apple IDs couldn't be used to sign into Fortnite after Friday, is when that was announced. So, I mean, their little battle's going to go on and on. I just don't see Epic winning this battle. I think Apple is easily going to come away the winner. Now, is Apple going to come away the winner as far as winning over the court of public opinion? I don't know. I have no idea what the court of public opinion feels about Apple versus Epic in that regard. I know a bunch of people hate Epic because they don't like the Epic Store.
Yes, they don't.
But I also know a lot of people, of those same people, probably hate Apple too. Mm-hmm. And I don't necessarily know this because of the App Store, but who knows? Mm-hmm. So I have no idea. And it's just, lately, it's kind of fallen off my radar when it comes to that because of everything else that was announced. By the way, so when we come back, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we are going to talk about the whole situation with Microsoft. And we're going to mention Sony in there too, because obviously they're a part of it. And not so much Nintendo, although there was that report that some of the developers have reported that Nintendo is asking them to make their Switch games 4K ready. Mm-hmm. Which, again, leads into the fact that the Switch might be getting not a redesign, but possibly an upgrade type of, like we're gonna make a new model.
Yeah, version 3 would it be?
Yeah, well, they got the Switch Lite, and then I guess maybe this would be the Switch 4K.
Yeah,
I don't know. I mean, they did do they did release another Switch that had a better battery life. Mm-hmm. In that family, but that's not something that was like a separate SKU. It just was like if you're buying one now, you're going to get the one with better battery life. If you bought launch or within that window of launch, you got the older one.
Yeah.
Chances are mine has got the better battery life since they replaced it. Mm-hmm. So I have no idea, but yeah, you're probably going to get a 4K Switch. Which will be interesting if they try to do that. It's like because you released some really good games that you're within the past 2 years already, or the first 2 years of the system. Mm-hmm. We got a brand new Mario, we got a Mario Kart, we got Legend of Zelda.
Yeah, that's that game that moved. That moves.
It
systems,
did.
Didn't it?
Yeah. It did. Smash Brothers.
Yeah,
a whole lot of good stuff was released there. And those games aren't 4K ready. So what are you going to do? Are you going to re-release the titles and like this is a 4K ready title and make us buy again, or what happens? I'm very curious to see how they handle this. If that's the case. So, and we don't know that it is. But anyway, when we come back from the break, we're going to talk Microsoft. I would love to get your opinions. You can throw them in the chat room if you want to. Just remember, it takes a little bit for me to go back and scroll through to read everything, to find what your opinions are and to go over them. But would love to hear your opinion on what they've announced, the price, what you think about it, and everything else. We'll give our opinion of it coming up and let you know. So, but that's coming up. I'll tell you when to call in. But yeah, as we go to break here, we've got music from a game called Paradise Killer, which just recently released. Mm-hmm. I'm not exactly sure about any of this. I don't know what Paradise Killer is. It was kind of popular from what I was looking online. Are you looking it up?
9 out of 10 rating on Steam right now.
See what I'm saying? See what I'm saying?
Let's see. Freeform open world first person exploration investigation game.
So
the player investigates the mass murder of the island's ruling council as they wish, piecing together clues and forming their own arguments to present in the in-game trial.
So it's basically Phoenix, right? What's it called?
What? Phoenix Wright?
Phoenix Wright.
Ace Attorney?
Yeah.
Things like that? Yeah.
It's like Phoenix Wright, but you can move around. And not look at just slide shows type stuff. I'm guessing. I don't know. Anyway, it's got a lot of people like it. This is called Go-Go Style. We'll be back with more in-game chat, and we'll talk that Microsoft stuff that is coming up right after this. And welcome back to In-Game Chat. Music here from a game called Star Renegades. This is called Music for Calibration. I don't know much about Star Renegades, but somebody was playing it last night. And we never use music for it, so I decided to grab it. So a funny thing happened on the way to the new consoles being released. We got what we thought and what could be and possibly be a leak. This was Monday. Was it Sunday? I guess it was Sunday, maybe. I don't know. From the timestamp on this thing, it seemed, but maybe that was the case. But there was a bunch of leaks the night before, and I remember I was laying in bed, and it's like a little thing popped up from that Wario64 guy that I follow, and it popped up either on my phone. I was already half out just because I go to bed so early because it was Sunday, or it was during the week. Yeah, I'm done, and I remember seeing it, and not really thinking anything of it. It was like, oh, here's what the Xbox Series S looks like. I was like, okay. It's going to be a smaller version of the Xbox. Okay, that's great. Go back to sleep. I really don't think anything of it. And I wake up the next morning. I'm looking through, and it's like this. Here's what the Series X looks like, and I'm like, okay, that's perfectly fine. I start to watch a video about it, and I'm like, okay, that's perfectly fine. I mean, it's a nice little small box, and I don't really think anything of it. And I'm like, okay, it's just going to be the lesser version of the Series X. And probably not going to be the one that I get. I'm going to go with the Series X, and, whenever I do get one, that's what I'll go with. The Series X can do the 4K and all this other stuff. And it was great. I have no desire. Well, then Microsoft went ahead and they said, okay, fine, we're just gonna do this. Apparently, we're supposed to do it this coming week, but they went ahead and made it official and threw it out there and said, here's the Xbox Series S. It is the smallest Xbox we've ever made, and it's $300. Like, oh, okay, that sounds about nice, But what does that make the Series X? Because they still hadn't said anything. It's completely digital. There is no drive.
Right.
It's very small form factor. We didn't really have any specs until just a few days later, I think, or the next day, maybe. See, even in this article, they're talking about the pros. If physical backwards compatibility isn't an issue to you and you're not the type to trade in your disc at places like GameStop, Series S is very tempting. At $200, it's cheaper than we're expecting for the Series X. The cons, $200 is a lot less than what we were expecting for the Series X. So we'd expect some more serious compromises in terms of specs than just the loss of a disk drive. It is believed that the performance gap between the X and the S would be around the same one as the Xbox One and the Xbox One X. So that is from this thing, and we really didn't know. Of course, it had gotten updated because we got some actual specs from it. And I'm going to run down some of the comparisons between the Series X and the Series S. And this is something I'm trying to... naming conventions have never been really good for consoles. You got PlayStation 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. With Xbox, it can be confusing, and then with Nintendo, it was a little confusing until they stopped the Wii thing. Xbox can be very confusing to Joe consumer going in to buy his kids a console to put under the tree for Christmas or whatever the case. Because it's like, I want the Xbox One. Well, do you want the One S, the One X, or do you want the Series S or the? I don't know.
It eventually breaks down to the newest one.
The newest one. Well, then the newest one is this thing. Well, no, that's too much money. Well, then you probably want this one. It's so. I don't know.
Yeah.
I've never been the best on the naming convention. So what I'm trying to just think: S is small, X extra large. Okay. There's an Xbox S. There's an Xbox X. There you go. Just keep that in mind as we go over this stuff. The S is small, the X is large.
There you go.
Basically what we're going at.
And close, small is S, XL, extra large, X. There you go.
And we're going to go over some of the specs here as well. On Wednesday, Xbox threw open the door on everything and said, here's when these things are going to be available. Here's when you can pre-order them. Here's how much it's going to cost. They gave everything we needed. Mm-hmm. The Xbox Series S is going to cost $500. This was a point that we had said, I don't think they can go above that. Mm-hmm. We said that. We didn't think I don't think Sony can go above it. I don't think Microsoft can go above it. You cannot go into the $600 range. That is a bridge too far, basically, for most people. I'd say for 95% of the people that are buying a console, $600 is a bridge too far. $500, okay.
Yeah.
It's borderline, but we've been there before.
Mm-hmm.
And you're getting a good bit of tech with this thing. You're getting some really good stuff here.
Yeah.
For a lot of console only users, they're going to be blown away by some of the stuff that they're going to get out of not just the X but also the PlayStation 5. Regardless of which system you go with, they're going to be blown away by some of the stuff. And I'm not even talking about the graphic fidelity, all that stuff. I'm not even talking about how things look. I'm talking about the fact that they're moving into the speed of the hard drives, and I'm talking about faster. I mean, it's an SSD, but it's one of those NVMe drive type things. It's one of those real fast.
What was the capacity of it, though?
The Xbox. Okay, so I don't know. I'll go over that.
I think that was a part of contention for me. I was thinking about that because
I'll go over. I think. Hang on. Let's see. I think. Oh God, that's some small writing. Storage. Yeah, you get a 1 terabyte on the X, and 528 gigs on the S. Which sucks, and I'll tell you.
No, that's not going to work.
They do have.
I'm sorry, but for me, anything less than I think the 1 terabyte is the bare minimum you need to put in a console nowadays.
Isn't it? So yeah, the Microsoft confirmed the price and release date. Microsoft's beefier next-gen console will be available for pre-orders beginning September the 22nd, with a retail release date of November the 10th. Now, there is a financing plan that is coming with this. It's the Xbox All Access financing plan, which is coming to the Series X launch. They actually, I think, offered this for the Xbox One and the Xbox One X, I believe. Mm-hmm. It's a subscription. It's kind of like cell phones.
Yeah.
Except you're not constantly paying on it. For the X, it is 24 monthly payments of $35.
Okay.
That gets you the console, Xbox Live Gold, and Xbox Gamepass. Keep in mind that if you buy this system outright at $500, it does not come with Xbox Live Gold. It does not come with Xbox Game Pass. Mm-hmm. You will have to pay on top of that. Which, again, you can do the math. You can figure that out. If you want to go $500 for just the console itself and then, buy in on the Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, you can see how much you can spend over a certain amount of time. And then you could compare that to the 24 payments of $35. And I want to say that Lethal Migraine already did this in the chat room. And I want to say, where'd he go? It's something. You end up spending $40 less. There it is. On the X, you save $20. On the Series S, you'll save $60. Mm-hmm. So, that's marginal, especially at $20 over the Series X. Marginal. But the 60 for the S, it's like another game. Mm-hmm. If you want to do that, but you can't really buy one, you have to buy it digitally. Which again goes back to my issues here with the memory, or the space, not the memory, the space.
Yeah.
We got a little cheat sheet here, and I don't really want to throw out a bunch of technical jargon, but with the processing power of the X and the S, you're basically getting the same thing. There is a slight difference for the CPU, but you're basically getting the same thing. There is a difference in the GPU. So there is a difference there. It is the same it's the same one, but it's going to be clocked a little bit lower on the Series S. It's not going to be pushing as much power, especially in the power department. You've got 12.15 teraflops for the X, and you've only got 4 for the Series S. What else do we have? The RAM is slower. The RAM is a lot slower. You get 16 gigs of RAM on the X. You get 10 gigs of RAM on the S. The speeds of that RAM on the X, 560 gigs a second, 336 gigs a second, that sort of thing. On the S, it drops to 224 to 56 gigs per second. So you're getting slower RAM on that. You get 4K at 60 frames per second, up to 120 frames per second on the Xbox Series X. The Series S is only 1440p at 60 frames, up to 120 frames. So there is a drop there. Storage, we already talked about. You're getting a 1 terabyte drive on your X. You're getting 512 gigs on your S. They will both have the same speed on reading that memory or reading from the storage drive, but you're getting a lot less, which kind of sucks for a digital only. This is something I wish they would figure out.
Yeah.
If I'm buying digital only, I need as much space as you can cram in there.
Yeah.
Now, of course, they've got options where you can go out. They're doing the memory card thing again, back when they used to do it on the 360.
I'm about to say, go out and get your 8 terabit or 12 terabit.
We're assuming that they'll work.
Assuming.
We're assuming that external hard drives can be plugged in, and I haven't gotten down there. Probably it will. I don't know.
Yeah.
We're assuming that it will, but they also have peripheral cards, little slots that you can buy that are a terabyte or ever how many that you can hot swap into the machine, so that you can have more space.
Yeah.
So kind of keep that in mind if you want to. Yeah, expandable storage, 1 terabyte expansion card for both systems. It does. But it
doesn't say that's the biggest card.
Yeah, it's not really specifying. They probably will make bigger, maybe. I don't know. But it also is not telling me anything about like plugging in an external hard drive, through USB. They're not giving me. There's nothing in here about that.
Because like a 8 terabyte or 12 terabyte external drive is what, around 100, 200. I'm sorry, 150 to 200 bucks right about now.
Now keep in mind, we're still talking about the S and the X. This is still Xbox family. We know nothing about the PlayStation 5. We probably will be talking about that next week. We'll see. Backwards compatibility, you're fine. Both systems. The disk drive, of course, you get a 4K UHD Blu-ray player on the X. You get nothing on the S. Both of them support HDMI 2.1. And then, of course, your price, $500 and $300. Let's see. I'm reading this from the Destructoid article, and I'm going to throw this into the chat room if people want to look over it. Like I said, we'll get to the phone-ins here. We may save that for the next segment if you guys want to call in and voice your opinions here. What's the takeaway here? Probably the Xbox Series X relies mostly on GPU and memory to distinguish itself as the premier console. The Series X has 52 active compute units that result in it being able to perform 12.15 trillion floating point teraflops. The Series S has 20, which can only get them 4 teraflops. The Series X has 6 more gigs of RAM versus the Series S, and that RAM runs at higher speeds. And then there's the storage difference. And this wasn't on there, but the Series S is 60% smaller than the X. 60% smaller. And of course, $200 cheaper. The more I look at this, and I mean, I'm not out there to throw money at everything, even though sometimes I think I actually do that. My computer monitor. So I have my Xbox hooked up to my TV, right? Like most people, got hooked up to my TV. My computer is hooked up to my computer monitor. My computer monitor is not 4K; it is only 1440. I am highly tempted to pick up a Series S. And due to its size, put it back there in my computer room and just kind of switch over to playing on it when I want to.
Right, yeah.
And something else that we didn't factor in, by the way, I just went over the specs. And by the way, Assassin's Creed Valhalla got moved up after this was announced.
Mm-hmm.
I think Valhalla was always like, we're going to release the game whenever these systems launch. And we speculate they'll be launched by then, but when Xbox said, nope, it's going to be November 10th, they're like, nope, we're going to move ours up to November 10th as well.
Mm-hmm.
So that's when, which, by the way, what day is November the 10th? I'm looking it up now. That is a Tuesday. Makes sense.
Yep, typical release date. Yeah.
Makes sense. Consoles, not necessarily, but yeah.
Usually Tuesday, but sometimes on a Friday or something like that.
Yeah. So here's the other part of it. First off, that S is just impressive. I mean, even all the things that we're saying, oh, it's got a small hard drive and the RAM and everything else, it's a $300. You cannot...
It's a good amount for $300.
So far as I know, and man, you guys can call me out on this if you want to, I don't think you can build a PC with those specs for $300. I think you could possibly build a PC at $500 and get an X. But I don't think, maybe, but I don't think you can. I don't see where you can get that out of a. I don't think you can build a PC for $300 and get the same thing that you're going to get out of the Series S. I don't know. I've never really tried to. Anytime I've built a PC, it's always kind of been, throw everything at the wall type of thing. Just do it.
You have to spend a lot of time on PC part picker to try to figure that one out.
Right.
Trying to get that.
I mean, you got to buy an operating system. You've got to buy a case, a power supply. A power supply right now, you know this.
You talk to me, but man.
A power supply is going to eat up almost 50% of your budget if you're going to try and build a $300 system.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure, trust me, I'm sure there are videos out there of these PC guys like, here, we're going to see what we can come close to.
Mm-hmm.
And they got to make concessions on things. They're like, well, we can't do this, we can't do that, blah, blah, blah. You can't, I don't think you can do it. It's, man, that Series S is a value. That's amazing. I'm impressed. Mm-hmm. I'm impressed with not only the S. I mean, the X is impressive as well. It's a $500 console. So was the Xbox One when it released with all that Kinect crap attached to it. Mm-hmm. It was a $500 console, and they had to figure out a way to fix that because it was not selling. This is why I'm really worried about Sony. Xbox kind of has them covered both ways. Sony's already revealed that they have two consoles, the PS5 with a disc, the PS5 without.
Right.
And I don't think that their without a disc is going to be able to come in at $300. Mm-hmm. There's not, I don't know. I think the option was you can go digital with it or you can go physical with it. Not, here's our digital only version that is scaled down a bit. You know, it's not got the power of the physical PS5 type thing, mm-hmm. So we're able to lower the price. I don't know that they form factor itself doesn't look like they've done any of that. Form factor, you put the PS5 without a disc and the one with, you put them next to each other, they look exactly the same except for the disc slot. That is
disc slot, yeah.
Which makes me think that they're both the same. It's just one is all digital and one is not. We don't know any of that yet. That's just me speculating. But that also tells me that they can't really go too lower on the price of whatever they've picked for the PlayStation 5. I don't think they can go anywhere near $300. This thing, the Series S, is going to kill. That thing is going to just bring in tons.
It's going to fly off the shelves. Huh?
I really feel like it will. The kids are probably going to want the X, but that S is just such a great value. Yeah. And it's even more so of a great value if you go to that payment plan, because once the parents see the payment plan, for $25 a month for 24 months or how much it was, Yeah, and that gives you Game Pass, which is something we haven't talked about. There's the value, by the way, Game Pass. Game Pass is an amazing value. And I talk to more and more people every single week because we talk about games that are coming out, and it's like, oh, it's going to be on Game Pass for launch. And, I just signed up for Game Pass. That thing's amazing. Yes, Game Pass is great. And now it's even better. EA Play is coming to the Game Pass family. You don't have to pay extra for it. If you have Game Pass, you will get access to EA Play, which is their, whatever it was that their service was, which is, again, the just the value on this thing just continues to get better and better and better.
Yeah, we got a comment here from Arioki says he thinks Game Pass is a great value, but they delist way too many good games. But it's still a value. He does say it's still a value, though.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I really haven't come into that problem yet. I'm sure I will, but I haven't come into that problem yet. I mean, they may delist games, but they always, it feels like whatever they take out, they add stuff in. You know what I'm saying? For every game we remove, we add another game. So,
yeah, and of course, depending on what you like to play, your style of gameplay, what you like to pick up and everything, you know, what's a good game to one isn't necessarily a good game to another.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And games that they're not going to delist, by the way, are the first-party titles, which are always going to be Game Pass available. Mm-hmm. So their first-party titles will always be available on Game Pass day of launch. Mm-hmm. And will stay there, by the way. They will stay there. Yeah, Red Dead. See, okay. I get it with Red Dead 2. I own the game on Xbox, so it's not that much of an issue on me. And so I know obviously it's another issue for other people as well. A game like Red Dead 2 is just so massive.
Yeah. Which is why that's not going to, which is why we had that, when we're talking about the space of that hard drive, man, that Red Dead 2 on that.
Yeah.
No.
How long? I don't even know how long it was up there. Maybe a month, 2 months? I'm not sure how long Red Dead was on Game Pass. But the Game Pass is a great deal. Seriously, look into getting that. Like if you got kids or whatever, even if you don't have kids, but you got an Xbox, look into getting your Game Pass. It's an amazing deal.
And the price is what?
I'm not exactly sure. Look that up, because I got in on some kind of deal where I'm good through like next year.
Okay.
And this was last year when I got on that deal, so I'm good for a while.
Let's see.
Do they have tiers? I don't remember. I know Lethal Migraine's probably going to hear us saying this. He's probably going to chime in. Game Pass is $10. Game Pass Ultimate is $15.
15 a month, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
$15 a month.
Okay.
That also gets you Xbox Live.
Thanks, Lethal.
Yeah. I knew he was going to have that off the top of his head. But yeah, so the fact that they're adding EA Play in there is even better. From another website, VG247, GameStop is considering offering more than one way for players to get a PS5 and Xbox XS this holiday, outside of paying full price up front. According to a report, the retailer has already revealed these plans in internal documents. GameStop is looking into 3 different options: installment plan, direct layaway, and a rent-to-own program. Installment plans will be offered through third-party companies like QuadPay and Klarna, and they enable customers to split the purchase into 4 payments over 6 weeks. Installments don't come with any interest, so the end price would be the same. Layaway is something GameStop manages directly. It allows those interested to pay small installments over a certain period of time. Only after all installments are paid and the full payment has been received do customers actually get their console. I think you can do that now with like pre-order stuff. You just go in and pay it off over time.
Pay it off as you go.
Yeah, and then they're working with a third party to offer a rent-to-own option, which allows the customer to pay a small upfront amount, take home the console, and then pay the rest over 1 to 12 months. According to an internal memo, customers will be free to return the product during the 12 months. Won't get your money back, though. These are all separate from Xbox All Access and apply to PS5 as well as other products sold at GameStop. So that's a little update on that. Anyway, I'm really impressed with what they got here. It's possible I'll own a Series X and a Series S. I have Game Pass. By the way, this is something that I haven't had time to look up, and I'm not asking you to look it up, but I'm going to ask the chat room
anyway.
if you want to try. I have Game Pass Ultimate on Xbox. Does that also get me the PC version of Game Pass? Does anybody know? Or is PC version completely separate? I know that there's the option. I know if you're only on PC, you can... he says 100% yes. I'm not sure if this is what we're talking about. Because I know there's a delay, so I'm not sure if he's caught up yet. Ultimate gets you both. This is what Lethal Migraine is saying. That's fantastic because, building my PC, I'm still on Windows 7, which means I don't have Windows 10, which means I can't take advantage of Game Pass Ultimate. So, yeah. Okay, that's good. I was curious. I'm looking forward to having Ultimate on both my PC and my Xbox console as well. So
nice.
Anyway, I am extremely impressed with this. Not necessarily like if they had just said, "Here's our Series X, it's $500." That's great. We'd be talking about this conversation wouldn't have gone on as long as it did.
Mm-hmm.
But when they dropped that S and gave us that much for that, they gave us that much console, which is a very small console, but gave us all that for just $300, man.
So what's that thing about the size of a router?
It is half the size of the PlayStation 4. So you know how your PlayStation 4 has that, doesn't it have a little shiny part on the top? It's like half shiny, whatever.
Yeah, the part that can be, you can slide it off or access something when you want to drive.
It's the width of either of those halves that you want to go with.
Okay. Yeah.
I say the width. It's as wide as a PlayStation 4.
Mm-hmm.
And it's depth wise, it's half of whatever that is, half of the PS4. It's small. The thickness is just it's like a book. Teeny tiny.
Is it?
So
Jordan Jenner says it's about the size of one of those new NVIDIA cards.
Yeah, really, it is. There's a picture of them both, all three. 3080 Xbox. Let me see. 3080. RTX 3080 for Xbox Series X. Xbox Series S. I'm looking for the picture of this thing. Here it is.
Yeah, Lethal says 3090 and the Series S may be the same size.
Yeah, I mean your height wise, it's actually smaller than a 3080 by just a tiny bit. There's the picture. Now this is just the height. This does not give you any kind of an idea on the width and stuff like that. Oh, here's a good one for you. Here's what I was going to show you. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I was wrong about that shiny part on the thing. I hadn't looked at my PlayStation 4 in a while. We're sharing pictures over here, which is not good for radio. But here's the
You haven't looked at your PS4 since Destiny went on PC.
Yeah, I have, but I kind of forgot the way it was laid out. But anyway, it's like half of a PS4.
Yeah.
And you can see how thick it is with that picture as well.
Mm-hmm.
The Xbox Series X is a beast, man. I like it's kind of compact, but it's still actually huge.
Mm-hmm.
More than likely, it's going to go into my entertainment center type thing, laying down. I don't think I have place for it to stand up, and I'm fine with that. If I did, it would have to be on the top of it. I don't think it could stand up on the shelf that I've got my.
Are those the vents on the
side? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, those are vents. Yeah. Same thing for the Series S. It's like a speaker.
Yeah.
That's just venting. Ventilation. So, but that's our talk on that. If you wanna, we're gonna go to a break here. But if you want to call in, give your opinion on this thing, if you've got one, and I'll try and run back through the chat here to get everybody else's opinions as we were talking, because I know you guys were, and I was just rattling off. But give us a call, 334-272-9228, 334-272-9228. And we'll answer any questions you may have, if you got any, or we'll just hear what your opinion is on this whole thing. We'd love to hear it. Going to take a break here. We've got music from Avengers, which I haven't heard good things about this game. By the way,
we haven't.
I have the game. I have the game,
but
I haven't played it.
Oh, okay.
I got it for free.
No, even better. Get what you pay for.
Through a Verizon promotion thing, and I picked it. And so it's on PS4. Kind of wish I'd gotten it on PC because that's where
got Verizon ads in there.
Well, I'm sure it does. Well, no. Well, it might. I don't know. I haven't played it. I haven't played it.
Okay.
This thing is so corporate.
Yeah.
Out that it's that I would imagine everything is just you're just inundated with product placement throughout the game. I guess. I don't know. I haven't heard good things about it, so I haven't played it. And if I had known that at the time, I probably wouldn't have cared about getting it. I'd just been like, nah, I don't need it. Anyway, here's the main menu music from Avengers. We'll be back with more in-game chat right after this. And welcome back to In-Game Chat. Music here from Kingdom of Amalur Re-Reckoning. Just came out this week, I believe.
Re-Reckoning?
Yeah, it was a remaster, remake.
Okay.
Re-Reckoning. Because it was called Kingdom of Amalur The Reckoning, and then it's the Re-Reckoning, whatever. It's the main menu music. Probably sounds exactly the same as the first one. So yeah, phone lines are off the hook. There's absolutely nobody called, which is fine. Just was curious about people's opinions on this thing. They really need to, and I don't see it not being a thing that they do, which is basically allow us to use external storage. For a digital only system, 512, 528, whatever it is.
Whatever it is,
500 gigs is not enough.
Not enough.
I mean, it is. You just have to play a game, then delete a game when you want to get another game.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to fill up fast, especially with Game Pass. That thing's going to fill up way fast. So anyway, I don't see them. The last time that they had, I don't think they allowed it with the 360. I think they were very proprietary with the 360. They may have come around in later editions of the 360. But I know for the Xbox One, for the Xbox One, you can use external storage. So it's not a problem. And I just don't see them backtracking on that with this system and say, oh, you can't use external storage on this. I don't see that happening. So, yeah. So that's just, it's, again, massively impressed with what Xbox is offering here.
for $300.
They have. Okay, Lethal Migrant says they have talked about it. I'm guessing then that they will let you use external storage. See, Lethal's on this much better than I am. I kind of just assumed.
Mm-hmm.
I really didn't question it. I just kind of assumed. I'm going back and reading through some of the comments here. It's a lot of...
Yeah, Bama Brian's, in this day and age, anything 1 terabyte or smaller is unforgivable.
It really is. No, yeah, I know. Like the Micro says, you won't get the speeds of the SSD from the external, but just move games around, just easy enough to do.
Yeah. It's just for moving games around. Is but what I was getting at, because, wow.
Yeah, we talked about that. 1 terabyte or smaller is really, really just like, no. 1 terabyte should be your standard. I don't look at hard drives now that are like when I was building my PC.
Mm-hmm.
I don't look at anything that's under a terabyte.
Yeah.
I don't want you if you're under a terabyte. I don't want your hard drive unless it's under, and that goes for SSD, NVMe, all of that. You got to be a terabyte or more.
I can get away with it for like my OS. It's like that because I'm not storing anything on it, just putting the programs on there. But
I'm not even going this route.
Yeah,
I thought I would, but nope, I'm not even doing that.
Mm.
I'm going to put my OS on one of my terabyte hard drive. It's going to be on the NVMe thing,
mm-hmm.
one of the fast ones there. I'm just going to put it on there that I've got, and because I've got two different NVMe drives. Both are a terabyte each.
Mm-hmm.
Then I've got a 2 terabyte SSD coming in, which is another thing that I'm waiting for. There was a sale at Office Depot of all places on one of the Crucials SSDs, and so that's coming in. I've already got another. I think it's another terabyte SSD that's in my current system that I'll move over. I've got a 3 terabyte hard drive that I'm going to move over from my current system.
Mm-hmm.
And then I've got a 6 terabyte hard drive that just came in that I ordered. It was, again, on sale.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm going to use it as well. And then I don't know, I may take my old computer and I may make that the computer I do all this video editing on.
Yeah.
And just let it do its thing. That way I can enjoy my computer and play the games while it's doing its stuff. Because so far what I have to do is when I leave here, I'll go home, I'll edit on my computer, and then it has to render and do all its stuff.
Yeah.
And that takes about 2.5 hours or so for it to do that. And so I just kind of sit back and let it do its thing while I go do other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, everybody in the Destiny clan on PC, they're all running raids and stuff that I can't do anything with because my computer is busy.
Occupied right now, yeah.
So,
and I saw Lethal mention that the PS5 doesn't have a terabyte either. It's strange, 825.
It's a weird, it was a weird number when we saw that. And I'm hoping we're going to see more. You know, I don't know what Sony's going to do here. If they're just like, all right, let's just get it out in the open. Let's just rip the Band-Aid off, throw it out there.
Mm-hmm.
Or if they're really coming back with, okay, how do we combat this?
Yeah.
Microsoft now has 2 consoles that are going to be directly competing against us. And, we can see the specs of both, and we see the price of both. What do we do?
Throwing that Game Pass factor as well.
That Game Pass factor is a killer.
Yeah.
That is something that Microsoft has in their pocket anytime they want to use it.
Mm-hmm.
Because anybody that comes up, well, yeah, that's great that they got this, but do they have Game Pass? Because they can always throw that out there. Look how many games, and now it comes with EA Play. I was hoping they were going to make some announcement where the Ubisoft, subscription service was going to be thrown in too.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, geez, if they pull that in there, that's going to be amazing. So yeah, it's there's a whole lot of value with what Microsoft is offering and for what they're offering it for. And Sony's got to do something with that. And so far, and by the way, so far what Sony has shown for their games that they've got coming out for the PS5,
Yeah.
nothing's pulling me in. Now, that goes same for Microsoft, to be honest with you.
Oh.
They don't have any games that are pulling me in either, but I have Game Pass.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll get to play those games.
You get to play them later.
I get to play them.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah, you'll be fine.
You know, Sony's a little bit different. You know, I think the only launch title they've got that has any sort of interest on my part is that Spider-Man expansion or stand-up, whatever it's called, the expand-alone for Spider-Man.
Yeah, Miles Morales.
Yeah. Which I think is going to be able to play on the PS4 anyway.
Yeah.
But it'll look great on the PS5 or something like that. But it's not the Horizon Zero Dawn sequel is not until late next year probably.
Yeah.
There's nothing. And I said this when I was talking to James, is that this or somebody, I can't remember who I was talking to, but it was something to the effect of, this is not going to be one of those times. I think my days of buying these consoles at launch is over.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we've seen what happens with these consoles. They get redesigned or they drop in price.
Yeah.
And now the Series S, I think, is going to be a hard one to find. I think that one's going to be their big seller.
Yeah.
And it's going to be hard to keep in stock.
Talking Switch level?
Yeah.
Or,
I don't know. I don't know.
Even a bigger shortage.
Honestly, I don't know how bad shortage is right now. I don't know how bad it is for them to get these things built and get the components for them and everything else.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how that's all going for them.
Mm-hmm.
I know how it is in the world of building PCs. I know how it is, in phones and things like that. I know Nintendo's trying to ramp up their production of Switches to fulfill demand.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't tell you on the Xbox thing. I have no idea.
Yeah, some people say they're not getting anything at launch anymore. I think the last thing I got at launch was Dreamcast. My
Yeah.
Dreamcast was the last thing I bought at launch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, and Lethal Migraine points that out. Again, the Game Pass is something that kind of puts it into a perspective where it doesn't matter if I want something or not. There's a ton of games for me to play.
I said 251 games currently for console Game Pass and 211 on PC.
Yeah.
As of right now.
Yeah.
So
I know.
you got title overload.
Any exclusives on Game Pass you could recommend to me on PC? No first-person games due to my my sim
sickness. Oh,
I can't tell you because I don't know what I don't know what's on PC. I don't know what PCs have that's on Game Pass. They do have Flight Sim, and that's a beaut. But I don't know. I don't know what's available on PC for you to play. Gears Tactics is there. I don't know anything about that. If it's any good, there's kind of a lot there. I was going to say, Spiritfarer is something I played, which is great. Hot Shot Racing, I think.
Hot Shot Racing.
But see, I think that may only be console. I don't know if that's on PC. That's my problem. I don't know what is on console and what is on PC as far as the Game Pass is concerned. Because there is a difference there. There's 251 for console. There's 211 on PC. You're going to have some that are carryover, but I would what are those other 40, 39 some odd games? That aren't on the PC part. So I don't know. Anyway, so now we know what Microsoft's going to do, and hopefully next week we will have news for you to let you know what Sony is going to do as well.
Is it something about next Wednesday or something?
The 16th, yeah. Wednesday they're doing a showcase. The thing is that they're the way they've marketed the thing, the way they've talked about it here. I'll read the thing for you.
Mm-hmm.
If we got time, let's see. Sony will reveal new information about the PlayStation 5 in a live stream on Wednesday, September 16th. The showcase promises updates on the latest titles from worldwide studios and our world-class development partners. In a blog post on PlayStation, the company says it plans to show games coming to PS5 at launch and beyond. That's it. They didn't say we're going to talk about the system itself or any of this stuff. That's all they've said. So we're hoping that we're going to get something like that, but we don't know. So, Yeah. So, hopefully we'll know something. I hope it won't leave us with more questions. I hope we'll really get, here's our spec sheets of the discless and the disc version, or if it's as simple as you get one with a disc tray, you get one without.
Yeah.
That's fine too. But, give us our price, give us our launch date, let us know. That's what I'm hoping. That's what I'm hoping we get out of that. And we'll know on Wednesday. What time did I say that was? September the 16th at, 4 p.m. Eastern. So 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
In our area.
Yeah, here, Central Time. So just to let you know. All right, folks, thanks so much for joining us and hanging out with us. We really appreciate it. Thanks to everybody who grabs a sequel each from iTunes. Thanks to everybody who was in the chat room. AC Wraith, Arioka.
Roll call.
A10, Bama Brian 17, Casket Sharp, Commander Root, Drunk Degenerates, Lethal Migraine, Manning Wilkins, Mike Rooks, Moltile, Need Him, Omega's Innocence, One Yick, and Stephen Van Dam. Thanks. Thanks for watching. We appreciate it. Have a fantastic week, everybody. We will see you next Saturday and hopefully have some info on the PlayStation 5. But yeah, I'm going to leave you with the music here from a game called Deep Rock Galactic. It's called Welcome to the Darkness. Have a good week. We'll see you next Saturday.